conversation centered around the rise of ICE activity and how immigrant justice and Black liberation are deeply connected. Folks really dug into how and why this fight includes the Black community and why it got heated at times. It was rooted in truth, urgency, and care. And I say, for me, it was a love letter to the Black community to say, I love y'all. I know we tired, but we got more work to do. That episode laid the foundation, and today we're following up with two key voices from our team to talk about what happened since, what's going on now in Los Angeles, and where do we go from here. So, thank you, Lakeisha Camise. You were there at the press conference?
Yes, I was. I can tell you that it was a wonderful event. First of all, I have to give a huge shout out to our communications director, Maisha Exis. She did amazing work in like a week. She pulled it together and had not only news outlets there, she had journalists, and just that wonderful feeling of solidarity. I think that every organization there understood the assignment, and was there to uplift that, hey, we have more that is similar than our few differences. And at this point, we're all in this together.
I do think that all the speakers understood the assignment. Yeah. Absolutely. And I do appreciate the work that Maisha Essig put in terms of getting press there, right, and then doing the follow-up to see where the story was covered. And the story was covered. It was covered in the Sentinel and the Wave, which are two local Black newspapers that we absolutely wanted to speak to, because this was a press conference with intention of speaking to Black communities.
Right.
As well as covered with Spectrum and LAist, and I believe it was ABC and Fox News covered it also.
Yeah.
So kudos to Maisha for getting folks out. And I am delighted that we got as much press coverage as we did, and that they heard our talking points, right? That the first talking point was, this is an inclusive movement that we are building right now, that it cannot be exclusive. We cannot afford to have immigrants or trans or Black or any other vulnerable population of folks separated or herded off, right? So that was one of the messages. The second message is, you can't afford to isolate. That you've got to be part of a movement or organization or something. One of the things that builds power, not only for yourself, but for organizations, is people, right? And if you are at home, what they call doom scrolling on your social media, or even just simply watching, the news media, then that isolation can lead to powerlessness. You need someone, a group, a family, colleagues to work this out in your head, so it's just not being internalized. And then the third talking point is organization.
Right.
We want folks to be part of an organization. I know a lot of folks in the Black community, I think a lot of folks nationwide, period, feel like our organization and our structures are not working with and for us. But we need to be inside so they can work with and for us, and that we can give them direction and hold them accountable. So not only do you not want to be isolated, you want to be part of a movement, part of an organization to move it forward. And then lastly was, can't sit it out.
At all.
Can't sit it out.
We can't afford to.
Yeah. So those were the messages that we were putting it out. And we were putting it out mainly because I had been doing a whole lot of doom scrolling on my social media. And listening to and seeing that meme of Black women sitting on a rooftop sipping while the city is burning. Problem with that is that fire is going to show up at your door.
Right.
And now I am looking at how this fire has shown up in Los Angeles. So what many people don't think about when they think about Los Angeles is that Los Angeles County is huge, right? There are about 11 million people plus or minus in Los Angeles County. And as such, we hold the sixth largest population of Black folks in the country, right? And people continuously try to minimize and say, well, you're only this part of the population, but we're a lot. First of all, 10 million people, 11 million people in this area is a lot of people. If you don't believe it, come here and try to drive somewhere.
You can put New Jersey inside of LA County. It's huge.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Right? And then if you think about the number of Black folk in this area, it's huge too, even though many times it feels like we're spread out. What I appreciate about the headquarters of Black Women for Wellness is we're located in Leimert Park, which is a mecca or a center for Black folks in Los Angeles County. It is still in Leimert Park 95% owned by Black homeowners and entrepreneurs,
It's beautiful.
which is amazing.
Yes.
Right? We have representation of our elected officials by Black folk, right? If we're talking Congress with Cindy Calamander Dove, if we're talking state with Lola Smallwood Cuevas, if we're talking Isaac Bryant,
Yes.
if we're talking city, our mayor is Black, if we're talking city council, Heather Hutt, etc. So we have Black representation in Los Angeles that needs to be held accountable. Right? And held accountable by and with the Black immigrant community here. It is amazing to me that we can go to, Harold and Belle's, which is a Louisiana style restaurant.
Speaking to my roots.
Or we can go to, the place across the street, which is Jamaican, or around the corner on Western to Belize, and get some Haitian food from a caterer right here in Los Angeles. And we talked about Earl's, one of my joints, because they have a vegetarian burger, is run by Trinidadians. Right?
There you go.
So we have that huge Black immigrant population here also. And if you go in any of the hospitals or clinics around here, you're going to find a Nigerian doctor or nurse.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. So in speaking to our communities, we were speaking with our communities and acknowledging not only the immigrants, but the frustration and weariness of living here at this point in time.
The main thing is, and I want to circle back a little bit on that. So many people think, oh, I'm looking at what's happening policy wise. None of this pertains to me. I keep telling people you may not be into politics, but politics are into you from the time you're born to the time you expire. And we're so right. We're so lucky that we have that Black leadership at every level. But this is where that whole sipping the tea and watching it burn. Couple things that are wrong with that. One, voting is the first step. That's the floor. And people are thinking, I voted. They should fix all my problems. We should be over this. No. You need to engage with whoever your elected official is. You need to meet with their office. You need to be like their ear to the ground and say, hey, this is what's going on in my community. How can we work together and partner? Me be a resource to you. How can we get this fixed? Be solution oriented. And people forget about that. They think, oh, I voted for them. They should fix this. Well, it's a team effort, I get it. Some of us don't like group projects, but this is a group effort. We do not have single issues. We can't operate in silos. We have to work and collaborate together in order to have real change.
I don't think we're lucky that we have Black representation. I think we work damn hard for it.
And you're right.
Right?
You're
so
right.
it wasn't, if luck is a combination of hard work and opportunity, then okay, that's what we got, right?
You're right.
But we have a program here at Black Women for Wellness. Voting rules everything around me.
Right.
And we have a team of field who have door knocked over 500,000 doors.
Yeah.
Right? Who have made those phone calls. It's not like it's hard work.
And they do it year round and not just around election season. And that's the thing that people are not understanding. It's, again, that voting thing is not a one-time thing. You vote constantly. You vote for your city council person. You vote, for your state assembly person. You have to keep voting, and you have to keep holding these folks accountable. Keep meeting with them. And then another point regarding us sipping our tea and watching it burn. The fire has spread, and I keep thinking of that talking point where if you see a crow eating your corn, right, you shoo them away because they're going to come and eat your corn too. And that's the whole thing. People are looking back and they're saying, oh, that rate's happening with the Latinx community. I'm good. I'm cool. I got papers. And I'm thinking they probably have some paperwork as well, but clearly no one is asking them for it. Clearly they can't even get identification of the people who are snatching them off the street.
They're literally being kidnapped.
Right. And
Paper
not
no
giving,
paper.
right, no due process, no formal, anything, nothing, basic human rights that we're supposed to have according to our constitution and laws of this country are being completely ignored. So we can't sit silent. We can't sit on the side. As a mentor of mine once told me, when you see a good fight, get in it. This is the good fight. But I will tell you that press conference, I think that it was just a beautiful, like you said, it was a love letter. But when I looked at it and saw, you were busy with your paperwork and everything, getting your talking points and getting ready to talk, Jan. But looking out over the crowd and seeing all the different folks that we had there, we had not only our Latinx community, our Black community, we had folks from our African brothers and sisters from different areas in Africa. We also had Jewish people in the house. I had folks, coalition partners of ours, who were like, hey, I know I'm not on program. I just wanted to come and support, and just having that whole vibe of people saying, we know that this is an important moment. We want to stand in solidarity. I don't have to be in the video or the picture or whatever. I just want to be here to support and uplift what's happening to all of us, because it's not just coming from one of us at this point.
Person brother Baba Wakili, who said the proverb about the crow, right?
Right.
So been knowing him forever, right? Sister Nana, right? And now she's the leader of BAJI, Black Alliance for Just Immigration. But before she did that, she is an attorney, right? And she has been an attorney for community members for as long as I can remember.
Right.
I remember way before COVID, right? Which is kind of like one of my demarcations. She came to one of Black Women for Wellness' reproductive justice conferences to talk about your 4 rights, right? Right. The 4 things you need to do. Ask, am I free to go? And if you're free to go, get to step in. Right. And then, I do not want to talk to you. No, you cannot search me. She drilled that into us long time ago. Right. I don't know how good it is now when people are kidnapping folks off the street. Yeah. But my point is that Black leadership in our community, we have each other in the peripheral. Right. So for the press conference is one of the times that we have come together to really begin to talk about this, right? And to begin to talk about it publicly. Because we are talking about it. We're talking about it with each other in our small groups, right? We're talking about it with each other on Zoom and when we see each other at events. So it was electric. Yes. To see it come together, right? One of the things that we talked about just a moment ago, to say that everybody got the message, they knew what to talk about. And one of the things that we wanted to talk about is the tension between the Black and Brown communities. Right. And Angelica came from Cherla. Yes. And I felt like she came and she brought her 2 senior leadership who were African immigrants, right, to stand with her. And then she directly addressed right? That black-brown tension, the
Mhm.
anti-blackness that happens in Latino communities. And we have to address also the anti-Latino ness that happens in black communities
Right.
also, right? We have tensions. And the reason we have tensions is because of white supremacy,
Right.
right? Because as long as we are divided, they get to rule and be at large and in charge, right? So we are, yes, beginning to address our tensions, right? And knowing that while we are addressing our tensions in terms of the anti-blackness and the anti-brownness, but we still need to be focused on the very cruel, inhumane, and devious behavior of white nationalists at this
Right.
moment, of the uptick in the rapid pace of the fascism and authoritarianism that is taking over this country, that we need to look carefully at the court system and how it has been rigged, to look at why, and I'm going to go back to this point about elections and luck. Elections now, one of the things I say every now and then is we have the best democracy money can buy. Right?
Absolutely.
Because so many of our elected officials have to spend so much money to stay in office, right, that they become dependent upon large donors, right? So we have to look at that at the same time. We're going to have to walk and chew gum. We're going to have to walk, chew gum, and pat our head at the same time because it's a lot going on, but we can't. We had to figure out that balance, right?
And you know what's funny? I'm glad you brought that up because I always tell people elections have consequences, right? And before this podcast, I was telling you how I was rereading a book on tyranny by Timothy Snyder. And a couple things just really jumped out at me. He talked about elections in this book. And they say whenever you have elections based on, monetary donations and having to put so much into campaigning, then, this election system only works for those who are wealthy and who have the means to contribute. We're looking at it now. Basically, we're looking at a bought and sold election during this last session. And people don't understand that, and I have to go biblical. This is so bad. This is so bad. I know. Whatever your religious affiliation or none, it's one thing that says wherever your money lies, your heart lies also. And so you can tell where
it's not
someone's
necessarily biblical. I say that all the time
Yeah,
too. Your values are. You can look at your checkbook and determine
Right.
what your values are.
You can look at your account, and wherever your money's going, that's where your heart lies. That's where your loyalty lies. And if we're seeing where all that money is going into those elections, those people who, once they get into office, they become beholden to those folks. They're like, okay, you've given to me, you financed this, you're able to keep me afloat, to keep campaigning and doing this. So when they come with that ask and know that that ask is coming, they're going to be like, so, we paid all this money. We want this policy to go forward. So,
Yeah. So just in terms of a call to action, we'll go back to one of our 4 points in terms of get involved. Right. You join an organization, join a movement. Do not be caught alone with no one to call. Right. So we will post a number of phone numbers to call. Some of the most immediate numbers that people need are if you see ICE. And they are messing with some people. Like if you see ICE in MacArthur Park with horses and tanks and masked men with big guns, you need a phone number to call.
Right.
So we want you to have those phone numbers to call. We want you to have your phone charged. So if you see that happening, you can start streaming also and know where to stream. So if something happens to your phone, that footage is not lost, right? So we want folks to have those numbers and that availability. We want folks to get involved and engaged. If you are on your social media, what we also want you to do is have a number of places to go where you can get some truth or some ground truth, right?
Yeah.
There are a number of folks that we follow. And of course, you can follow Black Women for Wellness. But there's the 19th
Yes.
that you can follow.
Mother Jones is pretty good.
Politico.
Yes.
Just a number of places where you can go and get some truth.
Right. And then also with this, one of our staff uplifted how her mother is also afraid of the whole ICE raids and everything that is happening. Fearing just going out to get basic things, going to the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
There has been a significant drop in people going to their places of worship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's even further isolation. So making sure that you're getting connected, getting in community, and all we got is us. We all have to work collectively at this point. There is no, oh, that's them, or it doesn't bother me, it doesn't affect me. It's coming knocking at your door. Just any minute now. Just check that time.
Yeah, no, it's knocking at your door.
Yeah.
It's knocking at your door with what is this whole birthright conversation? It is. I mean, we have
disturbing.
So been here before.
This is established law, and now if it's down to if you did not join in as a state regarding this lawsuit, you may have different citizen status than someone else, and you're both born in the same country because you're in different geographical states, and that is bananas to me. It's unimaginable.
Yeah. But yet, here we are. We don't have to imagine it.
I know.
We just got to scroll to read it.
Yeah.
So it's not coming. It's here.
Yep. It is here. It is now. And folks, get in community. Get to know your neighbors. Get to know your farmers. We're still dealing with issues with tariffs and yeah.
You know, I love that idea of getting to know your farmers.
Yes.
Farmers market is my religion. Every Sunday, that's where you'll find me, at the farmers market. And so that's a great place to get to know your farmers. Right. Absolutely get to know your neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Speak to people. Look them in their eye. So you can see what your danger zone is. Also, just in case, if something go down, you might know who will help you and who will not.
Right. That's amazing to me because, I'm a recent transplant myself, and I'm like, I can name at least 10 people in my whole big old apartment building that I know. I was like, I know this one, I know that one, I know that one does fashion, and this one does this, and I'm like, how do you not know folks? Just a quick conversation on the elevator, just anything.
It's Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It's Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm going to say for more information and details and logistics, you can go to bwwla.org. Or you can follow us at BW4WLA on our social media.
Yes.
And we'll post all that info.
Yes, definitely.
The title of this program is I'm Just Saying, Two Black Women with Opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And here we have a kill. So I feel like I need my sisters over here. So we can say two black women with opinion plus one.
Plus kill. And to kill.
Plus one. So thank you, Akil, for joining Two Black Women with an Opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. And sharing your opinion on the press conference, the topic, and why Black and Brown communities have, I think, the fight of our lifetime happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Jan, for having me on I'm Just Saying, Two Black Women with Opinion. And I am missing Adjoa and was thinking about her as well. The press conference was beautiful. To see community members coming together. And it's a testament to the work that we've been doing, definitely since I've been here, since 2020, the pandemic, and since BWW's been around for going on 28 years, 29 years,
It's
been a
been a
long
while.
time, right?
Mhm.
And so to see a call sent out to Black, Brown communities, LGBT communities, our partners who are also white folks, also Asian folks as well, folks coming out to support the press conference, to support Black immigrants, to support um, the call against ICE, right? To say ICE needs to leave LA, the military invasion needs to stop, and then to really speak out against fascism, to speak out against just the decimation of our people and communities. And so to have folks there and to see that, to hear that it was about 150 people, that's dope, you know, because I was like, okay, you know, how many people we expect? 'Cause I was part of the setup, right? We worked with Maisha, who did a great job just kind of leading it and getting everybody prepared for the event, for the press conference. And we were like, okay, so we set up for like how many? Like 70 people. We're like, yeah, that sounds good. Next thing we know, we bringing out chairs from everywhere.
Mhm.
We going to get chairs, standing room only, all that, right? Um, and so we had a good mix of folks, and then the diversity of the organizations who you brought up to say we're in solidarity, standing
Mhm.
to build trust in organizations, right?
Mhm.
To make sure that we are organizing together, and to make sure we're being inclusive of marginalized communities, LGBTQ folks,
Mhm.
queer, trans folks, and then also getting folks to think about how the different ways they can be involved. And so that was powerful, and to see how that came together was definitely inspiring and empowering.
Mhm. You know, I always laugh about numbers reported in the media. You see, like, there was 150 people that really didn't feel like it. Looked like about 10, right? Or sometimes they say, "Whoa, it was 100,000 people there," and you were like, "Really?" I gotta learn how to count. I don't know how they do those estimates.
Right.
But I will say it was a full house.
Full house.
It was a full house
Yeah.
there. And I also think that that press conference was one of the first, if not the first, where a conference was called or a statement was being put together, be put out to talk about the Black and Brown communities, our work in solidarity,
Yeah.
and that call to action. There have been, previous to that, I had been to a couple of press conferences given by or pulled together by elected politicians, right? Where the elected politicians were like, you know, talking about what they wanted to talk about. But this was really community. And I think it was the first one that was community that didn't ask, you know, elected officials to come or be the catalyst to move forward. And I think that more work is needed to be led by community, as opposed to personalities, right? Even though our community does have personalities, right? And we do have unelected and leadership, right? I can think about some of the Black women, like Miss Mobley or Loretta Jones, or who were absolutely leaders in the Black community of Los Angeles, but were never elected to anything, and didn't run for office to be elected to anything. So
just have a presence,
or that leadership, right? So that's what I appreciate about the event itself, is that it was called by community for community. And it was community talking to each other. And one of the charges of community talking to each other is, how do we hold our elected officials accountable? How do we give them support and backbone to stand up and do something? How do we give them the solutions that we see are needed with this, right? So they can have the courage and backing that they need to do it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And that's powerful, right? Because and I think those are conversations we're really thinking about is how do we hold our elected officials accountable, especially during this time, right? To give them the support to fight against what's happening with the invasion of Los Angeles and
It's been
the
invaded.
attack on California.
For sure.
The orange guy said I attacked California yesterday. And it's like, are you serious? And it's like, yeah, he's serious.
It happened.
And he was proud about it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and for me, it looked like a cartoon, a TV show, because you have people just running through the park. Like, that didn't make sense to me.
It wasn't a cartoon.
Yeah, right.
I mean, and I guess I think about that in two different ways.
Mhm.
One, California, I think, is the 5th largest economy in the world.
Mhm.
And Los Angeles County, the 8th, right? If we, just think about Los Angeles County. Los Angeles County had, I don't know if it's still there, a bustling pier, right? In terms of, there's lots of international trade that comes through Los Angeles County, Long Beach, etc.
2
So
ports.
lots of business, lots of business. And that not even counting the stuff that flies here, right? Just the stuff that is shipped here. And we're that West Coast, where if you're coming from China or any of those Eastern countries, this is where you get to first. And if you're in the middle of the country and you want to send your beef to Japan, it's going through California. So California is a large economy and it's a donor state. That means we give more to the federal government than we get. And it's like, why do you attack California? Is it like what is that thing? You cut your nose to spite your face?
Right.
Doesn't make no sense.
Right.
Right. But California has very much been attacked. And then when we look at our leadership, if I look at Karen Bass, our mayor, for example, she has not caught a break. And you can see it. January 7th, there were wildfires throughout California, right? The city is in a deficit, even more so now in a deficit, right? So she had to deal with this whole budget thing. She had to deal with the wildfires. And now she has to deal with being attacked.
You're right. Invasion of her
An
city.
invasion of her city, right? And the question then becomes, well, how do we hold Karen accountable and support her at the same time? Right? How do we say LAPD needs to be on our side? They need to not be standing there watching this go down. Right? They need to protect and serve the people of Los Angeles, right? But, she's got to deal with Marines being sent in. She's got to deal with National Guards being called in. And you gotta wonder,
Homeland Security.
were all those people called in when it was a fire?
Right.
Did they come in to help put out fires or, help people find placement having been displaced by these fires? So it's like, and then, who is she beholden to, right? Governor Gavin Newsom was, talking big, right? Talking brave and still is. But the question is, what will he do? And also the question is, what power do our government officials have, right? Do they have, I can't remember who it is now. I feel like it was Weiner, but I'm not sure. One of the California state legislators said that you must show your face, that you cannot be wearing a mask, carrying a gun, and on the streets, right?
That's vital, yeah.
So that's, part of what they can do, right? But they have to tussle. They have to do this dance as long as California and Los Angeles is part of the United States. They can start entertaining thoughts, maybe we're not.
Right.
Maybe we should succeed. Or, and this for me is a big thing, they can say, what? We gonna stop paying taxes. If y'all attack us, right, we gonna redirect that money from our donor state to take care of the needs of California. Right now we have extreme heat happening. Right? We have fires happening. We have a deficit. We are going to have to deal with that nasty, nasty bill that they passed with Medi-Cal, Medicaid, with SNAP in terms of food. So maybe we'll just keep our money here since y'all are attacking us and deal with the situation here. And then how do we back our legislators and government if they make those kind of bold statements to do something like that?
And that's the beauty, right, is that we can have those relationships with those elected officials, right, those legislators. And we've been doing that for a long time with our sister organizations, with other organizations who are really working to talk to elected officials, right, to let them know that we're here, our voices is going to be heard, and we're going to galvanize community around that.
We got to organize. We can't just talk. We got to organize.
Right. And so that's the beauty of what we are doing at Black Women for Wellness, right, with our civic engagement work, right, is knocking on doors, making phone calls, showing up at city council meetings or county supervisor meetings, going up to Sacramento to let folks know, like, we're concerned about these things. And that's ways that community members can get involved in real time in the different ways. And we allow those opportunities for folks to be able to do that as an organization.
We create those opportunities.
Yeah. The other thing I'm thinking about is, our basic needs, right? And when you talk about food, right? Thinking about farm workers, and then also farmers, making sure that food is secure during this time, and thinking about, even the housing, right? And how that's impacting our community. You talked about Karen Bass, being hit nonstop since she got into office, and, housing being a big issue that's, impacting our communities and impacting Black women and girls, Black families, a lot, right? And so what are the ways we're able to come together to address those issues and improve those issues?
Well, if I want to bring this back to the press conference, right? One of the things we did talk about was mutual aid. So, and I've said this a number of times. I'll probably keep saying it until it changes. But when I get off the freeway, the Harbor Freeway, and come down Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, which is a major thoroughfare in the Black community, there are no major grocery stores.
Right. Food deserts.
It's food desert. So, or maybe it's a food swamp because you can find 3 McDonald's.
Right. Carl's Jr.
Not a Carl's Jr., but you can find, what's that, Jack in the Box? And, but you can find these.
Burger King.
Yeah, right? So maybe it's a swamp because we get that kind of food as opposed to places for real food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So with that, right, how do we, just in terms of the Black and brown organizations that are there at the press conference, how do we begin to set up networks of mutual aid?
Right.
Now, one of the things that I know that is going on is it's the thing I love about Los Angeles, which is street food, right? You can get delicious fruit right off the street and tacos forever, but in all of our communities, there are these street vendors who do food, right? And they are absolutely afraid to do that now.
Right. Yeah, with the ice raids, they're not even coming out.
Absolutely right. They're not coming out. Yeah. So all that fresh fruit that used to be available, what's happening to it, right? So there's a movement, right, to buy the food from the street vendors so they don't have to be on the street.
Right.
But then it comes to, what are we going to do with this food now that we bought it, right? How do we get it out to the community, to the folks who need it, who might have bought it, but they're afraid to be out in the street too, right? So, and that's the part of how we are starting to think in terms of community and networks and coalitions in terms of, all right, so we know that food is an issue. We know we live in food swamp or food desert, whatever we want to call it. We know that folks who sell real food or street vendors are not coming out. What can we do about it as a community? There is a lot of conversation to be had around what is going on in Los Angeles right now and what type of climate it is creating in terms of, do people feel safe? Do people feel fed? Do people feel like they have transportation or can get on public transportation? Do
Right.
people feel like they have employment? Or are we going to have to look at all of that because we're at war?
I think we're going to have to look at all that. We have to work with the coalitions we're part of. You know, we're part of this United Front coalition, and these are conversations we're constantly having. And we're also in communication. We're part of these food policy councils, right? And so we want to make sure we're bringing these issues in to really be able to address those things, right? And not just be like business as usual. We're having meetings and we're talking about data, blah, blah, blah. But no, like we have to move in real time now. And we need to make sure that there's right policy there, like you're saying. And then if there's new policy that's needed, make sure that gets ramped up, right? And so we're fortunate because we get to have those conversations. We're in those conversations, and we get to work with these coalitions like United Front. We're part of the Beat. Right?
Okay, so what is We Are California, and what is United Front, and what is Beat?
Right. So We Are California is basically ultimately an organization that's focused on power building, and really, you know, base building and community engagement and civic engagement and narrative strategy to change the narrative around how Californians see ourselves in California, but then also how we engage in the political arena, right? And so that's a coalition of organizations up and down California, from San Diego up into the Bay Area. And then we have United Front, which is the same kind of organization, but it's housed in Los Angeles, focused on Los Angeles County, and folks within the Los Angeles area. I think there's some folks from the IE as well that are connected. And then we have the BEAT, which is the Black Experience Action Team, which is also the same organization, that's same type of organization that's focused on uplifting Black folks, Black community, changing the narrative around how Black folks see ourselves, how we engage with each other, but then also taking policy agendas to elected officials at all levels to make sure change is happening, right? To make sure we're holding elected officials accountable, letting them know that we are supporting them, and that we're here to also remind them about their responsibility to community as well, versus just kind of corporations and corporate barons and things of that nature. So those are what those three organizations are focusing on. You know, again, narrative strategy, policy advocacy, and really solidarity, building community, to be able to work together to make sure we have the needs that we have the things that we need to thrive.
Yeah.
And we need those spiritual protections, especially now.
Gotta call the ancestors in the room.
Gotta do it.
Gotta call them ancestors.
So
in
we
the
got
room.
that magical logo right there.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. And then the other thing, just in terms of calling the ancestors in the room, calling spirit, but we also, some of the speakers I know, Tori
Yeah.
and a couple other speakers really talked about the history
Yeah.
of this country.
Yeah.
And made connection to world movements, right? Because one of the things that I do not want and strive for us to make sure we have global connection
Yes.
and global communication.
Gotta do that.
So, and that was great in terms of, you know, we had some folks there from the continent and we had some folks there from the Caribbean, right? But it's also important for us to know our history and that connection too. So I appreciated those two aspects of that press conference also, that the minister stepped in and stepped up, right? And that the history stepped in.
Yeah.
So we knew that we had very strong shoulders to stand on that were not only local but international.
Yeah. You know, what comes up for me around that too is to say, I think about the Panthers, right? And their 10-point platform.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't often talk about is their relationship with the Brown Berets,
Mm-hmm.
right? And other folks who came in to support, you know, truly and authentically,
Mm-hmm.
not to be COINTELPRO, not to
Mm-hmm.
disseminate it, but to really come together for the communities that they were serving and are serving. And so for me, like, I feel that energy of saying, you know, that's why we got to keep bringing in folks like Angelica Salas with Churla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Folks with Baji who dealing with Black immigrants, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have, again, this united front, this collaborative effort to transform, you know, this world. We have to do that. And we can do it on a number of different levels. And so having our ministers there, having our policy and folks who are engaging with legislators is vital. Folks who are on the ground doing the mutual aid, making sure people have what they need. We have to do it at all levels at this point. And so we're saying we can't sit this out. The trick for you is to find out how you get in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
How you get in the game. Grew up a coach's kid, so you got to find a way to get in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you can't, you know, have some water, have some towels or something to make sure when people come out, they can be restored, right?
You got to be on the team,
right.
and the team got to know you there.
Exactly. And so that's what we're doing, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
I will also say, once again, and reiterate, get involved. You don't have to join Black Women for Wellness, but join something.
Mm-hmm.
Be part of something.
Mm-hmm.
Do not be isolated.
Right.
Have a plan. What's your plan? Right? Just like you know, have a plan if you driving through Brentwood or Beverly Hills, who do you call?
Mm-hmm.
Know who you're going to call. One of the things that I appreciate about my mother's generation is that they memorized phone numbers because they had to.
Right.
Memorize some phone numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So memorize the numbers of the folks you know who you can call to action on your behalf.
Don't isolate yourself, because if you isolate yourself, you think you don't have any support.
No, you think you get lost in a despair or depression or sadness, etc.
Exactly.
We gotta talk to folks, and I always say, okay, you don't want to go to the protest, but it's always something you can do.
Right.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Make food for the protester.
Right.
Do some child care.
Right.
Make some phone calls. Be that person that they call that you can activate a whole network of people.
Mm-hmm.
That type of thing. It's something to do.
Ashe.